This episode of the Western Outdoor News Podcast is brought to you by Western Outdoor News Charters. Visit wonews.com for more information. Included with every charter is a cash jackpot, Frog Talks cinch sack, Gamakatsu G3200 utility case, a spool of high seas fluorocarbon, as well as coupons for hook and shark bait tackle.
It's the last day I actually fished a rat a little bit in the morning. It was perfect topwater conditions, and I had some big bites and practice on it.
Hey folks, and welcome to episode 24 of the Western Outdoor News Podcast. This week we talked to touring bass tournament professional Justin Kerr.
Fish there, if you know there's some big ones living there. Fish it slow, you get the bites.
We get the details on his road to the Classic, his days fishing it, and his outlook for the WON Bass U.S. Open. We then talk with Captain Cody Rogers on the Island Spirit about the Channel Islands Shootout coming up next week, July 7th.
Bring a bass rod, maybe a 15, 20 pound stick, 20, 25 pound stick, something like that. Something you can throw a jig with.
Cody and I talk about the current conditions up north, the bait, and what to expect for the Channel Islands Shootout. And let's just dive right in with Justin Kerr, fresh off the Classic. What got you into tournament fishing?
Okay, so, I think I got started fishing tournaments in about 1998 or 99, and I worked at a tackle shop in Simi Valley where I grew up. It was J&T Tackle at the time, and I got started, working in the tackle shop and meeting some guys. That's where I met Aaron Martins, and, I just kind of jumped into it from there, and then I decided, I can maybe make a career of it, and that's kind of what I've done since about 2003 when I started fishing. Yep, about WON Bass was my first tournament I ever entered as a pro. So
wow, cool. Did you ever fish WON Bass as a second seat?
You know what? I might have fished. I think I fished one tournament in the back seat, and I went to Lake Shasta.
Okay,
and I drew actually Kent Brown, which is, still a good friend of mine. So it's kind of like, bass fishing is just a small community, and you end up knowing everyone, for a long time. So it was a cool way to start for sure.
Yeah. Small community. And then you ended up on the big stage this year at the Classic. Kind of tell us about that journey and how that came to be. You qualified through the Opens. Is that correct?
No, I actually qualified through the Nation.
Nation.
Yeah. The Nation, I live at Lake Havasu now, which is in Arizona, and I got in through the Nevada Nation, and I like fishing those, river lakes a lot more, and they go to all the river lakes. So I ended up fishing the Nation, and I think I fished 3 or 4 qualifying tournaments, and I went to regionals, and in the regional you have to be your highest finisher from your state. And I was my highest finisher in Nevada, so I continued on the nationals. The nationals, there's obviously one person from each state, and the top 3 guys go to the Classic. And so that was a little special deal for me to make it like that. And I got in 5 tournaments, and there's only one other guy that I know from the West that did it that way. That's Tim Klinger. And, that's kind of why I did it, because Timmy did it. And obviously he won the U.S. Open last year. So we all know he's an amazing fisherman too. So that's kind of how we both did it and got into the Classic.
That's awesome. That's quite the way to get to it. And you're jumping through a lot of hoops and having to fish against a lot of really good West Coast anglers.
Yes,
for sure. That seat. Wow. Well, let's just dive right into the Classic.
Yes.
I watched the first few mornings. I was watching live and rooting for you, just as quite a few were over here on the West Coast.
Yeah.
And you were doing some things different, a little bit of West Coast love. Let's just kind of go through your days and how fishing went for you.
Yeah. So, like I said before, I kind of let a lot of West Coast guys down. I think I had a lot of guys rooting for me, which was awesome, and shows how the sport, has been for me for the last, 20 years. So, but the Classic, that lake was really cool. It was in Texas at Ray Roberts, and that place fished really similar right now to Lake Mead, just because the water was high and flooded in the bushes, and I got to move around and fish my strengths per se in that tournament. So worked out pretty good for me. I caught most of them on jackhammer, evergreen jackhammer, of course, and I caught some flipping a jig, and The last day I actually fished a rat a little bit in the morning. It was perfect top water conditions, and I had some big bites in practice on it, but it just didn't work for me. And I don't know. I think it was my area, because I had to move areas that final day, and just to get bit. So I had to leave that whole area, and that was at about 9:30. So I just think the area that I was fishing was just worn out. So, maybe if I would have started in a different area, I would have got a couple more bites, on the top water or that rat, so yeah, it's just the way it is. And, I fished to win the tournament, and, that rat can get it done. You can, win the tournament using that thing, which, I did in the California Open at Clear Lake. I think every day I caught 2 6s.
Back in 14, 15, around that time.
Yeah, 14 or 15. And I think I caught 2 6-pounders a day on that thing. So that was just the way I fished, and it didn't work out, but it was awesome to also see someone win a back-to-back classic. Someone becomes a legend in the sport, and that's, hard to become like that. So to see that and see how Chink Cherry can win back-to-back tournaments is pretty incredible.
Yeah, you were there for that moment in history, and that's something in bass fishing history.
Yeah,
something not many can say they were at. So
no,
that's awesome.
No, yeah, it was really cool.
Well, so a lot of jackhammer bites, a lot of flipping bites for the most part, and then a few bites on the rat. What rat were you throwing?
I was throwing a handmade carved one.
Okay.
A custom one, but I did show pictures on the internet of a Woodrow rat, which I kind of use both here and there. Woodrow rat's really good rat for like twitching, per se, not so winding it super quick and being efficient with it. But if there's fish there, if there's some big ones living there, you fish it slow, you get the bites. But
that walking style we like to do over here.
Right, that's exactly right. That's better for that, and the bait I was using just to cover water is more efficient for tournaments. And it's just a custom one that I have done. So, but it's cool. Wood bait. So
yeah, it was cool hearing about it. I didn't see it. I think you had bad service that day. Yeah. So we didn't get to see it, but we heard about it for sure. The guys were talking about you throwing a big rat first thing in the morning, looking for that big bite.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, sorry, but yes, that rat, definitely can get the big bites, early in the morning, and actually through the day. Sometimes as it gets warmer, they get in that shade of the bushes or the trees, and sometimes it can work even better. So I had to throw it, it was my way to win the tournament. And, that's just how I fished it.
Yeah. You got to swing big on the last day for sure. So conditions during the tournament, was water falling by the end of the tournament, or was it still rising?
No, yeah, it was falling. I think it came down about a foot since we started the tournament, which, some of that is okay, but sometimes it's bad. But I think it made it still okay. And fishing, they kind of just moved out to the outer side of the bush, and they were catchable for sure. Yeah.
And you were fishing the jackhammer and also that stealth blade version of it.
Yes. Yep.
The clear plastic blade on there.
Yeah.
So the idea behind that was you just didn't need the flash, a little more subtle.
Well, the whole key with that stealth blade is, a lot of people don't know, is for it to really work the best is you got to wind it really slow. And if you put I was using a 3/8 on 20 pound the first day, and I could keep it real high up in the water column, and
still go slower.
Right, and it seemed like you get it around that tree or that hardwood or the bush, you can kind of like hover it, but it still had that vibration.
Yeah.
So that's how I was using it and getting bit. And it just seemed to, we had a lot of wind the first day, and the second day we had obviously rain delay and thunder and lightning and stuff. And it just seemed like the fish didn't want to, they had to react. And so when I had to go to a 3/8 normal jackhammer just to get them, because of that vibration was so much more than the subtle stealth blade, it seemed to get the reaction bite out of the bush. So, right. So I had to go to that. But the first day they bit it pretty good, but, I was using a couple different ones, and I kind of was just learning the areas a little bit more. Cause practice, you don't really wear on them too bad. So I was just kind of learning a little bit more, and, the things I maybe should have done a little different the first day, but, that's just the way it was.
Yeah, trying to figure out the spot on spot does take
Right.
a little more time
Right.
than I'm sure a quick practice where you don't want to hammer down on your fish.
Right. Right. Right.
Right on. Well, looking towards the future, over here at WON Bass, we have the U.S. Open coming up at Mead, and you said you love fishing those river events, and
Oh yeah.
and Mead's one that you've done very well in the past.
Yes. Yeah.
What are your plans looking there if we got enough water to get the boats in?
Yeah, that's the biggest number one concern right now is that lake's super, super low. I haven't been over there in a while, but all my buddies that live there say it's super low. It'll obviously be different every year. Lake Mead changes so much. And you just never know what area is going to be the one that's going. So I'm going to get a little pre-practicing time probably. If the water's, able to be fished, I'll be spending some time over there prior, probably the month before the tournament. I got a bunch of tournaments going on in October. So I think I literally
traveling,
have to.
You're traveling right now, aren't you?
Yeah, we're gone right now. We're out in California, but that's just because it's summer break for the kids and we're trying to get them to do some things. So,
yeah.
But other than that, yeah, I got a bunch of tournaments in October this year. I think I'm going to be coming from a Bass Open at Smith Lake and driving straight to the U.S. Open with, obviously no practice, just getting there the day before the tournament. So I'll probably spend time out there in September for, a week or so and just check things out and then just go fish.
Yeah, get a lay of the land with the low water. Everything kind of changes. Even the shape of the lake changes at that point with it getting so low.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you never know what could happen. I mean, maybe we'll get a lot of monsoons this year, and the lake will come up. So
yeah,
that is cool.
That would be nice in September if we got some water to come down.
Yeah.
In the past, Lake Mead, any insight on maybe what's going to win it? You think?
Like I said, you never know what the lake, is doing, and every year it's different. So, with no water, probably this year it'll be no brush. So it might be a real tough finesse tournament this year. And, yeah, it'll be maybe small weights, or someone will find them out deep, and catch them like that. So, I mean, you just, like I said, you just don't know. You don't know what the watercolor is going to be like. We just don't know yet.
Yeah, and that's a lake where that's a lake where they'll school up and giant shoals, right?
Right, and that it could be or shallow. Like I said, with the water being down, they could be just pushed into one area, and the area be really, really good. So like I said, you just don't know yet. It's hard to say what could go on. I know if the water was higher, what maybe would go on, but being low is a little different for sure.
It'll make for an interesting tournament. Yeah.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will.
All right, Justin. Well, I think that's the time we have for today. It was great talking to you.
Awesome.
Super stoked on even a fourth place finish. Getting to the Classic is
it was awesome
in its own. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And, hey, maybe we'll see you there next year too.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I think I got to win an Open this year, but maybe. You never know. Maybe I'll win one of those things.
All right, guys, and let's just roll right into it with Cody from the Island Spirit.
You know what? I got into young age, but I didn't end up working on a boat for quite a while. But I grew up pretty much since third grade, little kid, fishing with my dad on sport boats and stuff out of Santa Barbara and down here in Channel Islands and, a little bit further south, San Pedro, that area. Mm-hmm. But kind of just did a lot of fishing. And then, I had a chance when I was younger to jump into it and do it and did a little bit of pinheading as a kid. And then just kept going fishing for fun. And, fishing a lot most of my life. And I think around 2014, 15, I kind of decided, I wasn't happy doing what I was doing. I was happy, good money, good job, but, you go fishing a couple times a week on your days off and, realize you're a lot happier out here than doing what I was. So kind of decided to just go for it and made the jump. Thankfully, Tucker, he's a good friend of mine, not only as a friend, my boss, but, he gave me an opportunity to come out and try me out when he was still on the Mirage and, worked out there. And, after that, he got the Outrider and, put a crew together and asked me if I wanted to come and do it. And Absolutely.
Yeah. Did you get your license just right around that time, or did you carried your license for a while before that?
No, so this will be the third year I've had my license.
Okay.
Second year on the Island Spirit. The first year started out working second ticket on the Outrider, and then just slowly, a few months after having my license, starting to run the boat, the Outrider, and eventually Tucker decided to sell that boat. He bought Ventura Harbor Sportfishing and the Island Spirit, and asked me if I wanted to do this, and I thought it seemed like as good an opportunity as any.
Yeah, it's do you have a young family?
No,
No
not
family.
right now.
Okay. It's I was doing some of the night driving and stuff before, and now that I have a full family, I know that it's nice to come home and be in your own bed every night on that full day rather than the
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I've done them both, and I know that's definitely a better option for that situation.
Yeah, it's fun.
Very good. Well, how's fishing been up there? I know it's kind of been back and forth. Are you guys making it out to the islands as much as you'd like to? Are you fishing local for the most part? What's going on?
You know what? We've pretty much been able to make it to the islands. The past couple of weeks here, I don't think there's a day that's really put us on the beach or something.
Mm-hmm.
And not taking anything away from the beach, there had been some good fishing on the beach, so there was quite a few days where we opted to stay on the beach versus go over there. But we've pretty much been at the islands every day here. I'd like to say this whole month, I think. The beginning of the month started off, there's real good local sea bass bite here for us. Thankfully we're able to partake in that. We had some good days on it, some tough days. Got a lot of pressure being local, 80, 90 boats out there fishing a small stretch, all looking for the same thing.
Yeah. Then that was on the beach, huh?
No, that was over at the islands there.
Okay, cool. Was that Santa Rosa bite that was insane?
No, that was the Anacapa one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know.
Rosa's the islands out of our range.
Is it? Okay. Wasn't 100% sure on that. So, okay. Well, that's good. At least you guys are getting over there and able to do that. Are you guys, what's the bait situation up there for you guys? Because I know a lot of guys don't, from down here aren't familiar, me being one of them, with the bait situation. You guys have a year-round bait barge in the harbor?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, so it's year-round there.
Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
We've got the bait dock, it's like 2 boat lengths away from us, so it's real convenient.
That's nice.
They've been doing a good job at keeping it pretty stocked for us, A lot of anchovy this year. A lot of anchovy. Been a little bit tougher for them to bring in the sardine for us.
Yeah.
But
is that chovy a hook bait size fish,
what?
Or has it been tough?
It's been mixed, it's not 2 eyes and a wiggle. This last batch they brought in a few days back, they're a little bit more size to it. There's some good ones in there, which kind of helps, we're starting to get a little bit of surface action going. And, a lot of people, they're not familiar with fly lining a bait or fishing an anchovy before, it's a lot harder to fish an anchovy than a sardine.
Yeah, it definitely takes a little more.
What you're doing there. Yeah.
All right, on. Cool. Well, we got the Channel Islands Shootout coming up in just about a week away. That's going to be up there. You're in it. The Californians in it. And who else was in that one? I was just looking.
We've got the Pacific Eagle.
And the Pacific Eagle. So you guys are going to be battling it out for the biggest fish of the trip. And that's 5 a.m. to 4 p.m. So a little earlier than you guys normally leave on your full days. You got an idea of how that's going to go? How's fishing been? Do you think you guys might get another shot at some yellows, some sea bass?
Yeah, we might, it hasn't been like the yellow and sea bass fishing, the past week or so has been kind of hit and miss, scratchy. It's not like it was earlier in the month for us. We had, yesterday we had a yellow. The day before we had a sea bass. And we were just,
there's still fish to be that. There's just not seeing the big schools of the sea bass or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, the rockfish fishing there and sometimes that calico fishing there are enough to make up for it. That's for sure.
No, definitely. And we've been doing a lot of surface fishing for most of the day here, and barracuda, bass, bonita. We're seeing the yellows boil. It's whether you're going to get one to bite or not.
Yeah, you guys actually just recently had some good CUDA fishing, huh?
Yeah, this past week it's been pretty good for the most part. We go through a lot of short fish to get what we get. I mean, it's fun, steady action. You're constantly catching the fish, watching them jump. Good time for the people.
Yeah, that's always great to at least have the action just flowing like that. It's
people get to pull in a bonita, and that's usually fun for a lot of people that aren't used to fighting a fish like that. Drag them around a little bit.
Oh yeah, some good tangle opportunities.
Oh, absolutely.
That's part of why we do it, right?
Yeah. Keep you on your toes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we got a week away from this thing. A lot can change. We just came off this big full moon. There was a little bit of wind earlier in the week, and I think a lot can change in the next 7 days for sure. Any information that you can give, customers coming up for that trip, things to bring, what to be prepared for, giving them their best shot at maybe a big fish up there?
Yeah. As far as right now, that stands for, while we're recording this.
Exactly. A week out.
Yeah. Bring a bass rod, maybe a 15, 20 pound stick, 20, 25 pound stick, something like that. Something you can throw a jig with. A lot of that CUDA and bonita's been on, the little Colt snipers, little mega baits. They're liking that a lot more. Okay. Not so much the big Tatty 45s. They're Tatty C a little bit, but they're just chasing around that smaller stuff. But I mean, you're still catching the bass on it, everything, and it's fun. And it seems like a lot more of the legal fish are coming on the jig versus the people fishing bait. But as far as fishing bait, we've been having people fish 20 pound fluorocarbon if they have it, a real light sliding sinker, like a 1/4 to an 1/8 ounce slide sinker, just to kind of help a little bit with the movement on the anchovy.
Yeah. Are you guys fishing like a size 4 hook or a 2?
Yeah, like a size 2, size 4.
Yeah, something pretty small.
Some people are fishing a 1, but
getting away
obviously, it's a little bait,
Yeah, if you want it to swim, go as small as you can, right?
Yeah, exactly. Some guys are fishing plastics. A lot of the spots we've been fishing, we have people fishing single dropper loop, reverse dropper loop, real light sinker, 4 ounces. A lot of it's been pretty shallow fishing, 25, 30 feet of water.
Yeah.
But, we've had
that can be some fun fishing up there at the islands. I've done quite a bit of calico fishing up there, and that's about it in the skiff, and some special stuff goes on up there.
Yeah, it can get real good at times.
Yeah.
Hopefully next Wednesday.
That's what we're hoping for. We're hoping for a good turnout and a lot of, happy people, and some big fish coming over the rail would be great, but it could be a calico bass that wins this thing, or a halibut, or it could really be anything, which is kind of cool. It kind of,
yeah,
I think it changes it up and makes it kind of interesting. And I think fishing's going to just keep getting better, hopefully, as this weather holds out. And I'm looking forward to it.
No, absolutely. And I'm pretty sure on this one, what doesn't count in this one?
I think it's kind of,
I remember.
I think it's just biggest fish. So
just biggest fish? Just
biggest fish on this one. Yeah. It's not like a rockfish deal only, or like a sea bass only thing. It's biggest fish.
Right.
Yeah. So that should be, it'll be pretty
That makes it interesting.
Totally. I mean, you can go over there and I know there's some good halibut fishing to be had out there, and you're just trying to catch a couple big ones, and if your customers are game for it, you guys and doing different things.
Yeah, that's what we did last year. It worked out.
Did you guys end up winning it last year?
Yeah.
Very cool. What was that fish?
We got it.
You remember?
2 halibut. I don't remember the final weight on them.
Yeah,
but I think we had the first and the second, and then the next biggest fish was barracuda, but I think Tucker had that one.
Okay. So doing some halibut fishing. Sounds like it might be part of the game plan if something doesn't change too much.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you coming up for that one?
I won't be coming up for that one. Well, maybe there's a little chance, but as of right now, I won't be coming up for that one. If I do come up, I'll try to hop on your boat.
Yeah, come on out.
Yeah, definitely. Sounds like fun.
Oh, definitely. It's going to be a good time no matter what happens, you know?
Oh, it always is up there. And just being on a full day boat is great. And being able to hit the islands like that on a full day is just awesome.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's going to be fun. We look forward to it.
Cool. All right, Cody, thank you so much for taking the time to do this call with us. We'll talk to you here in just a week.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds great. Thanks for having me on, Daniel.
All right, guys, that's going to conclude episode 24 of the Western Outdoor News podcast. If you haven't already, check out wonews.com for that Channel Islands Shootout. 3 boats will battle it out for biggest fish, first, second, and third place at Ventura Harbor, July 7th.